In Part 2 of Lecture 8, we discuss URLs and browser basics. Sometimes you will hear people call a URL a web address. This is not exactly accurate. A URL contains several elements that make it possible to find a particular document on the web. Most URLs start with http:// to indicate it is a web document and you need to use the Hypertext Transport Protocol to fetch a page. But that's not the only option here. More and more sites are using https:// to indicate that they are using the newer standard Hypertext Transport Protocol Secure, which allows for heavy encryption. If you are using your browser simply to download a document, you might end up using ftp:// instead. The name of the web server comes next. The company is CNN, Cable Network News. The top-level domain is cnn.com. The www. In front tells us which of their computers we are using. After a single slash, you will see the name of the folder containing the file that we want. Lastly, you will find the complete name of the file, even its extension, which in this case confirms that it is an HTML document. URLs can have something else after the name of the file. In many cases, you can use this to include search parameters or other parameters if you have a small program written in the programming language PHP within the browser. There are a few rules for typing in a URL correctly. First of all, remember there are never any blanks in a URL, and you don't need to type the http://. All the slashes are forward slashes, never backslash. Some web servers are case sensitive, meaning that capital A and little a are two separate characters, so always match the capitalization exactly. Lastly, remember that links are not URLs, but a link will also contain one. There are times when you will need to know exactly what the URL of a link is. If you are using a computer, have the mouse hover over the link. The link will show up on the screen. If you are using a device with a touch screen, press and hold the link. It will show you the URL. URLs can get very long. This makes typing them more of a challenge because it makes it more likely that you will make a typographical mistake. This is why short URLs become helpful. Services like bit.ly and goo.gl make it possible to create short URLs. If you want to create short URLs, you go to the website git.ly. In the box asking for the URL to be shortened, you enter the original URL and then press the Shorten button. It will give you the newly created short URL. The slide shows you the process using goo.gl. Please note that goo.gl is no longer taking new URLs, only servicing the old ones. It is easy to get the impression that short URLs will last until the end of the internet. That just isn't so. It depends on how long the company maintaining it remains in the business of servicing short URLs. Short URLs can also be used to hide the real URL of a site that is not legitimate, and some web hosts may block short URLs. Please remember that sites with short URLs may not always be legitimate, and they should be treated as sites of questionable validity. CheckShortURL.com is a handy utility that will look up and display the full URL for the site. This can give you a clearer idea of whether the site is to be trusted. There are several parts of a browser window with which the user should be familiar. In the upper left-hand corner of the window, you will see two buttons with arrows. They can take you either forward or backward. The left arrow takes you backward to a page viewed earlier, while the right arrow takes you to the next page that you viewed in this window or tab. To its immediate right is the refresh button, which is typically an open circle with an arrowhead. This will reread the web page and display. This is helpful if you have a reason to expect that the page may have changed. To the right of the refresh button is a box for entering URLs as well as search queries. If you type something in here that is not a URL, it will assume that it is a keyword or phrase for a search. Below the address box is where the web page will be displayed, and above it will be the tabs that you have either opened or a tab on the extreme right that will open a new tab. The slide lists the most popular browsers in current use. The most popular is Google Chrome. It's very useful because it's very convenient when you are using Gmail or Google Apps. Microsoft Internet Explorer is also somewhat popular, but it is beginning to be replaced by Microsoft Edge, which has some advantages over Internet Explorer. Mozilla Firefox is based on Netscape Navigator and was very popular until Chrome came out. While it is still in use, its popularity has waned since the introduction of Chrome. Apple Safari is the browser that comes with Macintosh computers, iPhones, and iPads. If you wish to change your browser, you can download a different one and set it as your default.